Well, good morning and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folani. The long-awaited report, even though it was on schedule, more or less, it was on schedule, but still, it seemed like an eternity. We were all waiting for it. So now we have it, and we have a bit more because the governor, as it were, did a sort of a preface before the releasing of the report. I was turning there and speaking to my guests this morning, one of them, Mr. Curtis Adigba, lawyer and public affairs analyst. Thanks, Curtis, for coming again.
Thanks for having me.
Now we have the report. Overall, I know it's a big catch-all question. Any surprises for you in terms of how the public thought was going, apart from the governor saying that if we're not careful, we could actually lose sight of the most significant and most important thing that this is supposed to bring about. Any surprises for you?
Well, not so much. Don't forget that the report was already in the public domain.
The leaked version?
The leaked version was in the public domain, and the pros and cons were already examined by Nigerians. And we had some government officials weighing in on the report. And so what came out yesterday was not exactly surprising. However, before that report came out, the governor had addressed Lagosians. And in that very evocative message, he tried to telegraph some specific messages. Reading through, for me, you could tell that he was in a hard place. He needed to go ahead of the curve and reassure Lagosians that, look, I'm your governor. You have elected me. I'm governor to those who believe there was a massacre. I'm governor to those who does not believe there was a massacre. However, the truth is the truth. Lagos is not just going to be a mega city, it's also going to be the city of truth. And so government is going to act based on the evidence that is available to government. And that was what we saw yesterday.
Yes.
Yes, so I was not surprised.
Okay. Because, look, there's no way you slice it. There were a number of, should I use the word, damaging inconsistencies in the report in terms of numbers of allegedly dead people.
You see, and the inconsistencies creates problem, not only in terms of how this report is perceived, but it creates difficulty in how you even get justice for those who were supposedly massacred. Because you see, like I say to people, the court of law requires real hard evidence for you to prove anything. It's not a skit where you hold on to your phone and say, oh, I've sent you 500,000. With the touch of the phone, 500,000 is gone. And the recipient say, oh, and just smiles without asking for any evidence and say, I received or I didn't receive. The court of law is not a musical concert where the musician takes the floor, spews all kind of things that we don't even understand, but we are carried away by emotion and we are dancing. When it gets to the court of law, because you are asking the governor to punish certain people that you say committed grievous crime, but you have not given the governor any evidence to go after these people. You say, look, these guys massacred human beings, okay? And you are saying 9 of them were killed. In some places you said 11. Now you're saying to the governor, go after them. Go after these criminals, in quote, those who killed these innocent Nigerians. Prosecute them on behalf of the Nigerian people. Bring justice to their families. But the governor cannot just go, take them to court and say, look, you killed people. And then the defense will say, where are the bodies? Where are the parents of these people? Well, so you're asking the governor to bring water out of the stone, out of stone.
In that sense, the governor is almost in the public perception between a rock and a hard place. But let's play the report that TVC News put out yesterday on its main bulletin.
Journalists from across the state media and the State House protocol crew setting up for the governor's state address. In no time, Governor and his team mounted the podium. He has gathered everyone for the update of the End SARS white paper report, but first expressed his reservation on the leaked report in circulation.
While I commend the panel for undertaking its tasks to the best of its abilities. It is, however, regrettable that the panel's work and the leakage of an unauthorized version of the report has generated tension. Sadly, a deep wound has been reopened.
I'm aware that Ayomide Taiwo.
The governor recalls how he joined the youths during the protest last year and how he passed their demands to President Muhammadu Buhari and what led to the curfew on 20th of October 2020.
In the ensuing descent into anarchy, many of our compatriots were caught up in the violence. Several policemen were killed. Public and private property, including critical infrastructure, were set on fire, leading to losses estimated into several billions of naira. At that point, I imposed a curfew to restore normalcy in Lagos. We had only one goal in mind, which is the maintenance of law and order and the protection of citizens going about their daily lives.
After reminding Lagosians of peaceful coexistence the state has been enjoying over the years, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu called on youth activists and others to join him in the month of December for a walk for peace.
Open invitation to all of our youths, members of the diplomatic corps, civil society groups, students, gentlemen of the press, media, and other stakeholders to join me on this historic march for their Lagos.
Governor Sanwo-Olu also noted that the state government has paid more than 400 million naira in compensation for victims of police brutality in the state. The End SARS panel report was presented 2 weeks ago, but the content believed to be from the report leaked to the public, which was said to be full of inconsistencies. Adedoja Salamadini, TVC News, Lagos.
Because these were not cases.
Okay, there's the report. You might have seen it on our flagship bulletin yesterday. The point made also, among other things, that 400 million naira has been paid indeed as compensation as a result of the work of this panel.
No, well, yes, because you see, in the course of the sitting, there were cases that were specifically from abuses by officers and men of SARS that were clearly established in the opinion and conclusion of the panel, and they made recommendation to the Lagos state government to pay them compensation. And the governor did. I mean, that's to show you how willing he is. During that protest, he was one governor who was always present with the protesters at different points in Lagos, calling for meetings with them, pledging that they have his support and that of the federal government, and that they have achieved the aim and objective of the protests, because the federal government had acceded to almost all their demands, and that there was a need to begin to sit down with the government and see how these things can be translated into key actions. But these guys were not willing.
Okay, now, you see, so when you started, you explained that it would seem as if the governor was between a rock and a hard place, in the sense that, as he said, they wanted to get at the truth. And oftentimes in situations like this, evidence and the truth become one and the same. And so you had explained that, look, the governor who had said that Lagos is going to concern itself with the truth of this matter and bringing closure, but however, the evidence available to the governor, which you pointed out, that is the only thing that he can work with, it's a problem. Now, there were eyewitness accounts that were given, and then there is the evidence that police and investigators pick up.
Yes. See, don't forget that last week I said something. 3 categories of Nigerians as far as this End SARS issue is concerned. The believers, the non-believers, and the proof seekers. Now, this report is not going to change minds. If you are a believer that a massacre happened in the place, it's not going to move the needle. In fact, what we are hearing is that, oh, government convoluted this report to deliver already decided end. Now, if you are a non-believer, this report is still not going to shift your position, because it's baked in. You are saying the massacre never happened. maybe the only people that will shift their opinion or grounds will be those who are seeking for proof. And now they have got some proof officially from the government. So having said that, you are going to find people still stuck in their truth ecosystem. You either believe or you don't believe. But you see, why you are entitled to your opinions, you are not entitled to your own facts. And the facts are speaking, okay? And so this is what the governor is trying to say. Look, listen, I'm your governor. I'm governor to everybody. I'm governor to the young. I'm governor to the old. I'm governor to those who believe there was a massacre. I'm governor to those who do not believe there was a massacre. But what I'm saying to you is this. I will tell the truth and I will follow the facts. All right? I'm not just going to bend.
You know, as have been determined by a competent panel. And by the way, he praised that panel.
And don't forget that the governor has done very well in the sense that he did the things that the panel asked him to do in terms of paying compensation. And the governor didn't, or the government did not totally throw away the report. In fact, they accepted 14 recommendations. Now, the key one, which is what people are focusing on, is whether there was a massacre or there was no massacre. And in that report, the government said, the white paper said, the evidence that we have is contradictory. They're just mere assumptions and speculations, because you said 11 in other places. In another place you said 9. Out of the 9 you listed the names. A witness, Nathaniel Solomon, at the panel was listed as one of those killed. His own brother Abuta Solomon, that he testified was killed, was also listed. So, and then the forensic pathologist, Professor Bafonwa, said, look, 3 people died. Of all that he carried autopsy on, 3 people died. But only one had gunshot wounds.
Yes.
And that it couldn't be established whether the gunshot wounds came from soldiers or so. This and I mean, if you are the government and you have been given a responsibility to go and prosecute people that were alleged to have committed an offense, and you see this and you say you don't have evidence, and that's why the government said, look, this panel work may have ended, but our commitment to the rights of our citizens has not ended.
Okay.
So if you have any evidence after this, okay, please put up a petition to the DPP, the Director of Public Prosecution in Lagos State. And if the evidence is credible, government will work on it.
Okay. One moment, please. Kesandu in Owerri. Good morning, sir.
I greet you, sir. God bless you, and happy new month.
Indeed. Thank you for calling in.
Mr. Curtis.
Good morning.
Uncle Yuri, we actually living the real substance of this whole committee to look at errors, little errors that we know might be typographical or things actually resolve, and living the main substances. Are we saying that the lives of our young people do not matter? I heard your guest saying the game and we don't negotiate with him like he has tried to even talk to us. Uncle Yuri, as I speak to you, there's still police brutality in Owerri. The military are still brutalizing us in a way. The police are still brutalizing us in a way. As I speak to you this moment, I'm not saying yesterday, as I speak to you this moment. And all we're saying is just to see, look at what happened in the United States of America. When George Floyd died, the whole country witnessed that protest that was Black Lives Matter. Look at the way the country treated it. Nobody went about beating about the bush. Look at what our government are saying. The government saying that our life does not matter. Our government saying that we do not deserve justice. Aside what happened on the 20th of last year, what about other incidents that have been happening in other parts of this country? Nobody wants to look at it. Military is just telling us that nobody died. Just like that. And everybody wants to swallow it hook, line, and sinker. And you want to tell us that the use what does not matter. You think we're not responsible? You think we're happy with the state of this country? Let me tell you, nobody is more Nigerian than another. Nobody loves this country more than any of us. We love this country. This is the country we can call.
Okay.
All we're saying is that we want this to be done the right way. The Lagos State government and the federal government should be sincere and honest and give us justice. This is all we ask.
Okay, so
all right.
Let me say something. I think you raise a legitimate question or issue. You ask a legitimate question or raise the. But the point is this: we understand that there's police brutality. Nobody is saying that never happened. But how does that explain what happened in Lekki? You understand? So I want you to be specific on the issues you are raising. Nobody is in support of the police, brutalizing our fellow citizens. But what we are saying is specific about this report And again, you know, I go back to the position. He's a believer that the massacre happened. He doesn't have any specific evidence, but he wants the federal government and the Lagos state government to go after some people when he has nothing to give the government to do so. You know, so this is not an emotional issue.
It's a very, it's not indeed, because at the end of the day, it can be judged by emotion, but it is a touchy issue. We've been joined now by Malaki Ugumadu, former president of CDHR. Thank you very much, Malaki.
Thank you for the opportunity. Good morning, viewers.
Indeed. So you have a bit of catching up to do, but you've been in the studio for a few minutes, so you know where we are. Give me your thoughts there, because a lot of conversation also centered on the word massacre. You just look at the dictionary and you begin to, you know, so all of that is in there. There are those who insist that a massacre occurred, and there are those who are saying that, look, let us not call it what it is not. There were deaths, but even those deaths can be explained. And I think the governor was particular in trying to link everything to 20th of October 2020.
Well, thank you for having me again. I think the point is simple. It is that the exercise that was concluded, in respect of which a white paper was issued lately yesterday, has to do with the event that occurred in Lekki on the 20th of October 2020 and other related matters concerning police, you know, brutality, and in particular terms, SARS. So to that extent, you would see that quite a number of sophistry is going into this whole narrative. One, it is that a nation came to the point when it was realized that a lot of malfeasance has occurred relating to the operations of a special squad in the Nigerian police force. Remember that it wasn't End SARS that started, I mean, it wasn't the Lekki event that started the protest.
Yeah.
It was the killing, extrajudicial killing of Nigerians, particularly the one in Delta State. That was how it happened. That was what sparked the whole thing.
You know, okay. Please hold your thought. I'm going to come straight back to you, because in the meantime, Reverend Dominic has come on and has been waiting for a while. Good morning, Reverend Dominic.
Good morning, Yori. Yeah. Good morning, Malaki. Good morning, my friend over there.
Yes, Coaches Adigba.
Yeah, Yori, and everybody in the studio and Nigerians. Yori, ask me a question. What kind of people are we? Just like Malaki has said it here. What brought this matter was death. Yori, just take it, it's only one man, one death, one death. In the matter of blood crisis in America, how many people died? America has paid a huge compensation. Why do we have one? Let's take it 9 people that died. Is that enough for emotion? My brother said that it's not emotion. It's a lot of emotion. It's not as much they had. Let's say it's 9 people alone. What kind of people are we? This narrative is wrong. I think the government is supposed to come. Somebody died. Either it's a massacre, it's a nomenclature, or not a massacre. If somebody has died. Before the 9, there was provocation in the Edo, as Nadia was saying. There was death that was occurred through brutality. All we're pushing on the side, talking about massacre or no massacre. What kind of people are we? Already Nigeria, there's blood in the east, there's blood in the north, there's blood in the south. We can use this report to begin to heal wounds. I'm not blaming left and side. Why not federal government to come say yes? What will you do? Just as the government have done. Why are you taking this narrative? Like the brother said there, somebody was massacred. Somebody that's not massacred. There was a bloodshed. That too cannot shift ground. The government can, make atonement. Enough is enough. Why this narrative? What kind of people are we?
Okay, okay, Reverend Dominic. Thank you very much. We heard you, and it does appear that you are, displaying some sense of outrage at what you have heard. But Malaki, would you like to continue, because I had interrupted you?
Well, in all fairness to the Lagos State government, they voluntarily, pursuant to the Tribunal of Inquiry Law, T7, as we call it, laws of Lagos State, constituted if you like, this high-powered judicial panel of inquiry, presided over by a respectable retired judge of the Lagos State High Court. There was a senior advocate there, a DIG, representative of the civil society, even a member of the protesting group. National Human Rights Commission was represented, and so on and so forth. So, to the extent that the government displayed some disposition to show commitment towards redressing all of these transgressions, you could see the initial steps taken. Again, there were clear indications that there were no interferences. I was in the panel, I appeared. Yeah. However, the intervening circumstances, particularly after the release of the report from the from the federal government, as well as other fifth columnists, including the sudden disposition that came up from participants, I'm talking of lawyers, gave the impression that we are now more interested in the technicalities of what happened other than the facts of what happened. And this
even though the governor had said that the
now,
entire
just a moment, let me land this way.
Okay.
So, from massacre to white paper to all of these are not, look, we ought to be at a point in that panel. I appealed to address the panel, even if it was not my matter. And that was at the point where the prosecuting police officer, after showing, we were watching the video showing how a young boy was told to come out of the bus by SARS officers and shot point blank. The mother was fidgeting by my side. She was just close to me. The father was weeping. The elder sister who was standing in the witness box was, can you now see that your brother was? I said, no, just a minute, we are lawyers. Even section 228 of the evidence prohibits you from asking this kind of question that intend to provocate further and rub in the pain as if we are not. So the point being made is that whether we like it or not, there are people who were maimed, people were killed. I'm not talking of just Lagos. The federal government, in acceptance or tacit acceptance, told, I'm talking of the president now, told the secretary to the United States, Blinken,
we're waiting for the report.
We're waiting for the report. What does that presuppose? Lagos State disbursed over 400 million.
Yeah. Abuses.
What does that say? It presupposes that they have accepted, they know that abuses occurred. So if we as a nation are now more interested in the language of the law from lies are better told in English. The truth is that people's legs were amputated.
Okay, now
people died. Malaki. Not in Lagos. People died in so many places.
Malaki, I think we need to separate the egg yolk from the egg white. They are all egg, and they stay in one house. But we also need to do a separation. There is nobody with blood running in his vessel that will stay anywhere and say the police institution has not been abusive to Nigerians, all right? We have got personal stories to tell, but we are talking about a specific issue, and that issue was about what happened at Lekki. Nobody is saying Nigerians were not killed in Lagos. In fact, the chief pathologist said he received 96 bodies. We also know that policemen were killed by protesters in Lagos. So it's not a question of if somebody died or somebody did not die.
Policemen were not killed by protesters. Policemen were killed by thugs who were unleashed on the protesters.
Okay.
That is the truth.
Again,
the protesters were peaceful.
See, I think that's a matter of perception.
No, but you understand what I'm saying.
People will tell you, some people will also tell you that the protest was hijacked.
Oh, well,
by hoodlums.
But the governor even made reference to that
incident. For how many weeks were they peaceful until that incursion? That is the issue.
Now, the point
is
this.
They were peaceful, they were sharing bottles of water, waving flags.
No, I'm coming. The point
singing
is this.
National anthem, reaffirming their faith in Nigeria.
I think we
Government could not handle and unleashed these talks. Who now went?
That's your perception.
Oh, well, that's what happened.
That's your perception. But the point I'm trying to make is that.
Are you saying that? Did you just say that you think government
unleashed? Yes, I believed the state could no longer accommodate the kind of organization and the potentials of what these young people and the creativity
Well,
so in Abuja, for instance, just a moment. In Abuja, for instance, we saw thugs driven in government-marked vehicles to the venue of the protest. In Alabsa here, the same thing happened, and that was when this violence.
About a video that circulated on social media.
So let me.
I've got to go on a quick break, and I'm going to come back, and I'm going to accommodate all of this. Stay with us, please.